Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, yes.
Okay, Prabhuji, should I start now or should I wait a couple of more minutes?
You can begin. You can start, Mataji. I'll display the lyrics on the screen.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for giving this fallen soul this opportunity to do Kirtan Seva in this auspicious day of Bash Puja. I would like to sing a beautiful song to glorify the Prabhupada, the Gurudevs from Charanangati, written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung the glories of spiritual masters. I'd like to sing, and please, Prabhuji, share the screen so all the devotees can see the meaning of this bhajan. Thank you. Haribol. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Vinaya Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Korve Dashe Vinopekha Dina. The meaning of this line is very beautiful. Gurudev, O spiritual master, give this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Shakole Shahone Malodiya Karo Nijamane Sprihahina Shakole Shahone Malodiya Karo Nijamane Sprihahina. Give me all help, give me strength. Let me be as you are, without desire or aspirations. Whenever I hear this song, it's very touchy. It always touch my heart. Thank you, I'm going to sing. Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya, Karve Dashe, Tinopekha Dina. Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya, Karve Dashe, Tinopekha Dina.
सुनो जुस्ती हुई चीज है
So we can all feel the joy of Harinam. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you, all the rest to Srila Prabhupada, all the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. That was such a wonderful, very melodious bhajan and kirtan. Thank you so much for glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna devotees, we are having the evening program for Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja celebrations. Now for the next 30 minutes or so, we will do the offerings, the Pushpanjali, combined with the Vyas Puja offering. So let's see who is all here. If Ramya Prabhuji and Ananta Mataji, if they can do the Pushpanjali, that would be nice. Then we can follow. Maybe Sudhir Prabhu can follow next.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, let Ramya Prabhu after Shivvilas Prabhuji is also here, Prabhuji, no? Vipul Prabhu, Kuldeep Prabhu.
We can just follow the list on the WhatsApp, Prabhu. It will be easier then.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Are you waiting for me to start something?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, hold on a minute. Here, pranam, nama om Vishubhadaya.
So let us begin the Pushpanjali for Srila Prabhupada.
Picture.
What's on?
Are you just going to say those? Or are you going to do
That's
all of
what
them?
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamaniti Namane. Sridham, are they supposed to repeat or do I keep going?
You can keep going, Prabhuji. Because of the time, I think everybody can say one time.
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskachade Satarine. 3 times?
I think one time is good enough, Prabhuji. Again, because of the time constraint only. But each...
Doing the offerings or the Pushpanjali or at this time or the offerings, like the verbal offerings?
Yeah, the verbal offerings can be combined, Prabhuji, for the sake of convenience. Each devotee can recite the mantra and then they can follow it up with the Vyas Puja offering.
Yes. So Pushpanjali will be after that, correct?
No, it's supposed to be.
No. Pushpanjali first, then Vyas Puja offering.
We're supposed to have just finished Pushpanjali.
Okay.
While I was reciting the mantra, they're supposed to do Pushpanjali.
But there's more prayers.
Am I right, Sridham?
Yes, Prabhuji. This is Pushpanjali. After this, if Mataji wants to read the Vyas Puja offering, she can read and you can read before your lecture.
So let me just say it 2 more times. I'll go quick.
Okay, please. Okay.
We're not coordinated very well yet.
Each time you say supposed to say Pushpanjali at the end, and that's when everybody throws the flowers. And you do it 3 times, and there's more mantras, but whatever.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamaniti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachare Satarine Pushpanjali. You offer the flowers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamaniti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachare Satarine Pushpanjali. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamaniti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachare Satarine Pushpanjali. Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
All right, Sridham.
Is Mataji going to offer VP offering separate, or you both are doing together?
I was thinking you will do it just before the reading, but
Okay.
if you want to do it right now, I can do it now.
It's up to you, Prabhuji, whatever is convenient.
All right, we'll do it now. But I hope it's not going to be late. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamaniti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachare Sadarine. Dear beloved Srila Prabhupada, please accept our humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to your divine grace. On this most auspicious, glorious occasion of your appearance, we are eager to present our offering unto you for our pleasure. So this is going to be like third person instead of, because all of you are listening now. Srila Prabhupada has a unique position for all time to come as the founder Acharya of ISKCON and the preeminent Siksha Guru for all devotees now and to come. No one can ever take his place in this role for which he is eminently qualified. And as a result, each and every devotee now and to come in ISKCON has and should establish a personal relationship with him as well as with their own gurus. The devotees in ISKCON are well served by his guidance and as he directed. The guidance of the governing board of directors of ISKCON or the GBC. This is unique in that this is the first time that such a large and internationally widespread branch of the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, functioning cooperatively to spread the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simultaneously through multiple successor gurus and their descendants, and remaining loyal to the guidance and wishes of the founder Acharya. The strict following of all of Srila Prabhupada's wishes and guidelines is what has made ISKCON so successful and will be the guiding source of empowerment for all future generations. So as followers and disciples and grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada, what is the primary qualities that define us and empower us to spread Krishna consciousness? Well, first and foremost is fidelity or faithfulness to Srila Prabhupada. It is ultimately in its pure form an unquestioning loyalty and surrender to follow the rules he gave and to surrender ourselves to dedication of our lives and gratitude to pleasing him. This means we personally follow his teachings in our life, and we teach these same teachings to those who we come in contact with, whether they are family members or those who show interest in Krishna consciousness. To be faithful, of course, means first we must know what Srila Prabhupada taught and follow this very carefully. This is also a type of chastity, that we always remain Srila Prabhupada's sons and daughters, and not add or subtract to that to what he has already given, what Srila Prabhupada has given, and to follow it very carefully. And what he has taught us and requested of us. What is the ultimate result of following Srila Prabhupada? He stated that he will personally take us back home, back to Godhead. So this is vitally important because we want and need such a guarantee. Without this, we have no hope of pleasing Krishna and thus achieving spiritual perfection. Without his help and guidance, we will not gain release from Maya and not be able to exit from this material world. So in 1976, I met with my parents, and they inquired what was going to occur very soon, is initiation from Srila Prabhupada and what it meant. At 25 years old, I was full of enthusiasm and the feeling of invincibility of youth. So I replied that initiation meant I would follow Srila Prabhupada for the rest of my life. And they stared at me, and their mouths were slightly open in disbelief. How could a young boy, their son, who had recently graduated from the university, make such a commitment to an elderly Indian spiritual teacher whom he had never even personally met yet? At this age, what does one really know about such commitments, which can only be made out of love? But looking back, I can see that the secret that Srila Prabhupada had indicated often before, that was by regular daily service and surrender, love grows drop by drop, day by day. He knew this fact, which is true for all living entities, and he knew it will work for anyone, even in this age of Kali. My life has been filled with many milestones of commitment and surrender and love, and it is still active and alive today. I find that when I make a commitment to serve and complete some particular project or task, there is a newer opportunity to feel reciprocation with Srila Prabhupada that has kept me close to him for so many years. Otherwise, how is it possible? In this age of Kali, specifically at this time, people find it hard to make strong commitments to anything other than the most selfish of goals. When one steps out of his comfort zone and tries to please Srila Prabhupada by taking on responsibility and service, which seems beyond his capacity and experience, then magical things start to happen. First, one must begin with the commitment that I will do this particular project to please Srila Prabhupada. Then he must take and make every possible effort to complete this project. But that is not enough, and it will not bring forth the closeness to Krishna and Prabhupada. One must pray and pray and pray for Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and Lord Chaitanya's help at every step. He must know and pray that all successes will come only if I obtain their help and not just their blessings. Otherwise, on my own, I will fail and not bring pleasure to Srila Prabhupada. That is so relishable and on which I can meditate day after day and year after year. I am not a seasoned book distributor. So in my early years, I used to ask, what is the key or method that required to get someone to take a book? I was a bit surprised with the answer because it was the same as I was already trying to do. It is to pray again and again to Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya for their help to do the impossible, which is to turn the heart of a conditioned soul from their selfish desires under Maya to hearing from and following Krishna, a truly monumental task to say the least. But something I learned each time I reach out of my comfort zone to please my Guru is that to please Srila Prabhupada is simpler and clearer than to try to please Krishna directly. Srila Prabhupada, my Guru, makes it so much easier to please Krishna. If Srila Prabhupada is pleased, then he may mention to Krishna that I have done some service and Krishna will accept whatever his pure devotee requests. We hope that this offering is pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, and we pray that you accept the efforts of the devotees in the Tampa community to follow you and please you. We continue to beg for your mercy so that we can continue to expand the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna and bring more and more conditioned souls to surrender at your lotus feet. Your humble servants, Ramiya Das and Ananta Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Ramya Prabhuji. Shubhavilas Prabhu.
Out of time. Hare Krishna. Worshipable devotees, please accept my humble obeisance. Not Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanath Swamiti Namne Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarini Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Ginit Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatharinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Thank you, His Grace Ramya Prabhu and Anta Mataji for such wonderful offerings. I don't know what to say on this special day of Srila Prabhupada's 125th appearance day. For a person like me who has not seen Prabhupada physically or heard directly, it's very hard to estimate the glories of such a great soul, which are unlimited. Because as the great acharyas say that the qualities of the Supreme Lord, a pure devotee gets most of those qualities, like a well-wisher of everyone, samasta guna gana dhama, the ocean of qualities, the ocean of mercy, the ocean of benevolence. And that's how only a 70-year-old person could even dare to come from India in the city like New York, which is at the peak of material existence and the peak of extreme weathers. So I only pray on this day that we, myself individually, and we all collectively take to the words of Srila Prabhupada, because he's always present through his words, through his instructions, through his books, through his conversations, and through his temples, through his beloved devotees, through his GBC disciples, grand disciples, and upcoming generations of sincere followers of Prabhupada. They are all representing Srila Prabhupada. They are all representing the movement, the heritage. So I'm really amazed by the extraordinary efforts and the services rendered to Srila Prabhupada and his mission by the Tampa community. And I was just reflecting that last year we had 180 registrations for the Janmashtami program. And this year we had 280 registrations. That's almost like more than 50% increase. That's not seen actually anywhere. And I was thinking, how is it possible? It's only possible by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara. And of course, our devotees, it's very hard to say all the names in a short time. It's because each and every one did extraordinary effort, keeping Srila Prabhupada as the center, keeping Sri Krishna as the center, and keeping selfless, unalloyed service as the goal and whole. And I just pray to Srila Prabhupada on this day that may our community of devotees continue to grow both in quality and quantity, to be a wonderful garland around Srila Prabhupada, to be a wonderful offering of love and devotion, to be a wonderful offering of service and gratitude to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru Parampara. And individually and collectively, we continue to take more and more shelter of Srila Prabhupada's books, his instructions, his message, his devotees, his legacy, and be a part of the mission to spread the glories of the holy name and Srila Prabhupada far and wide to the best of our abilities. So this is my only offering on this day to Srila Prabhupada. And thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for giving us what you have done is unimaginable and unprecedented. No one ever did in the past, and no one will ever be able to do what you have done for all of us. Otherwise, we would have been rotting in some gutter of the material world. At least I can say for myself, all of you are very respectable devotees and pure souls. But if Prabhupada would not have been there, and his instruments, his disciples, his books, we would not have been, I would not have been chanting the holy name or reading Bhagavatam or doing what in insignificant way we are trying to learn and do and grow. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for all your mercy and kindness upon this fallen soul. So thank you for giving me this chance to offer this offering. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Oh, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Mama jnanatirmirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshuranmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada. I am so grateful to Srila Prabhupada for what he has done for me in person and for everyone around the world. And as we are passing more years and we are reading more about Prabhupada, reading about his efforts and endeavors, it's just incredible how much he has undertaken the suffering just to make sure that the message of Lord Chaitanya, the pure message of the spiritual world, can be spread around the world. And I'm so very grateful and indebted to him for accepting me in his movement as his grand disciple and giving me a spiritual family, which I'm forever grateful for. I don't know what would have happened to me if I was just without Krishna consciousness. I was growing up like a Westerner. I never had like typical probably Indian upbringing. I could say no worship, no deities, nothing I knew, and somehow Prabhupada picked me up, even when I was not even looking for all these things, but Prabhupada just picked me up somewhere, and I'm so grateful to him for everything that he has done. And my only desire to serve Srila Prabhupada is that I make my life successful so that he's proud, so that his efforts do not go in vain. And I follow his instructions as it is. We don't have to add anything. He has given everything to us in his conversations, in his letters, in his books. He has given all the mood that is required for us, from us to enter the spiritual world. He's given everything. There's nothing that we require. And he simplified so much. So all we can do is just make a little endeavor to follow what he's given. And make him proud that his efforts had not gone in vain, and propagate Krishna consciousness, because that was his mood. When we read Lilamrit under the expert guidance of Her Grace Ananta Mataji, every time I realize that, when we're reading Lilamrit, it just infuses us with that preaching spirit that Prabhupada had, how he's preaching everywhere, how is he seeing Krishna everywhere, how he's so much filled with emotion for the lordships. It's just so touching, and we get infused with the preaching spirit. So I'm so grateful to Ananta Mataji for reading with us and guiding us through this journey. And I hope to follow all of Srila Prabhupada's instructions, special instructions like chant Hare Krishna and don't criticize devotees. It's so important, so important. and to know the peace in each. And he wants us to be humble. He wants us to be very, very recipient or receptive towards Krishna consciousness, not challenge. And so many different instructions just to please Krishna and spread the mission of Lord Chaitanya. All these simple instructions, but very profound. And if we can do this, Prabhupada will definitely help us purify our lives. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for accepting me in this movement.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribol Prabhuji, you all can one by one, you can make the offering.
So I don't take too long. Jang Vishnu Pada joy. So when I need to talk about Prabhupada or have to offer regarding Prabhupada, always I think is there's a Bengali song written by Joypada Goswami Maharaj. Prabhupada jodi na hoito. And Siddham Prabhu always says, if Prabhupada was not there, we would not be here. We would be somewhere, but not in the congregation of the devotees. So what I did not get in my land back home, where Chaitanya Prabhu himself came, we are so unfortunate. But coming to other part of the world, through the mercy of Prabhupada, we got the missions, love, and message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I always think that if Prabhupada did not come here, probably this time we will not be sitting here watching Bollywood or Hollywood. And how would we grown up with our kids? How would them give them some guidance how to grow up? Probably like animal life with some degrees and just passing out our time. But Prabhupada give us quality time, quality life. And best of the things is that the devotees association. So that's why me and my family are here. Even my friends are also here. So I'm grateful to Prabhupada. Life after life, my promise is that I'll serve his mission. It doesn't matter where I am, how I am. We are Prabhupada soldiers, and with the association of the devotees, we'll go forward to spread the message of Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavata Pranam. All to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sridham Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity. So I'm not qualified to, even say Prabhuji, but having learned from senior Vaishnavas, just Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace E.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, who is very dear to Lord Shri Krishna, having taken, his shelter on his lotus feet. So Prabhuji, I jotted down few points. So Prabhupada has accepted, I consider myself his very minuscule servant. So all glories to Srila Prabhupada, because he has provided so many books. He has provided A, B, C, D, E. He has provided the association of devotees, be books, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. See, he has given us the chanting, and he has taught us how to do the devotional service. And so many holy places like Vrindavan, more than 108 temples all around the world. So we, with the grace of Ramya Prabhuji, Shubhalas Prabhu, Nayana Brahm Prabhu and all, we are regularly reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita under the guidance, and Ramya Prabhu also helps us a lot. So we can see that it is very practically impossible for an ordinary devotee to write hundreds of books. But Srila Prabhupada, because he was Shaktavesha avatar of Lord Krishna himself, and he translated so many books. Yeah, we cannot count on our, it's very difficult. And the amount of pain he took. And so I'm begging at the lotus feet of Lord Srila Prabhupada to accept me and give me the guidance so that I can chant. I'm chanting, but not with rapt attention, and also the quality and quantity both have to be improved. So I beg to Srila Prabhupada to give me that guidance. And the Rath Yatras, I can still go on. So many Rath Yatras all around the world. Prabhupada has taken so many pains to do all this. So Prabhuji, and he has also given us in a big family, ISKCON family. Wherever any part of the world you go, you can get prasadam. You can get Krishna's devotional service, and we can get Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So with that, Prabhuji, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Srila Prabhupada ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna devotees, and with pranam all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadi Shatarine. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Because of Prabhupada, I'm really happy. Otherwise, I would have always thinking why this is happening to me, why that is happening to me. I used to compare with everybody, and I used to compare my life with the Indian people. I used to think about my family, they are in India. So even though I'm in US, but I'm happy because of Prabhupada's movement and Prabhupada's blessings, and Devotees Association and Vaishnavas in Tampa. And I'm really happy. So Prabhupada always says bhakti means devotional service. So I heard about bhakti in my life so many times. So Bhakta Prahlad, so Bhakta Kannappa, those people we heard so many times in my Indian, growing in a spiritual family. But bhakti means devotional service. That means like doing seva. I heard from Prabhupada's preachings and the Devotees Association. So without doing any seva, you cannot progress in bhakti. Bhakti means just doing your own self, your own sadhana. It's not like that. Helping others, preaching, and doing the deity worship. So in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the Kali Yuga, who is so merciful. We say in Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is merciful because he gave the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But we don't know that. So Prabhupada is so merciful. Generally grandkids, grandparents like grandkids more. So Prabhupada came and he gave that mercy. Even though I was born in India, I never heard about Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I never heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Prabhupada. So after coming here, even though I was in US, so I was so lucky to be coming to US, because I heard about ISKCON, I heard about devotees, what is the goal of life, what is the soul, what is bhakti means. So utilizing everything in our life. So I thought so after we leave this body, so the soul is gone, but I never heard of that. Where does the soul go? What is the purpose of life? Everything. So using everything, whatever we are doing, cooking we do from childhood onwards, until we die, we have to eat every day, 3 times a day. So everything what we eat, we have to offer to Krishna. So that will become prasad. So there is nothing change. You are cooking anyway. So you have to offer to Krishna. That's your mental and your body. It will become spiritual conscious. So anyway, you have to go to temple. You have to worship. So we used to do that in temples. I used to go for material benefit. I need this. I have to pass my exams like that. But if I go to temple now, I remember Prabhupada. So we have to pray for our spiritual benefit, not for our material benefit. So, and raising kids, generally, when we grow up in India, we'll take kids to the parks, movies, and we will make them give so many wonderful toys for birthdays and celebrate like that. So now coming to Krishna conscious, we have to make everything for kids also, a spiritual way, learning shlokas, songs, teaching how to respect others. So there are so many things there is no age or gender gap. So there is no caste, creed, so color, complexion, nothing. So everybody can become Krishna conscious. So Prabhupada brought so very nice way, the Krishna conscious way. So so this made my life so wonderful, Prabhuji. Worshipping deities at home, cooking and taking care of kids, serving Vaishnavas, reading books, hearing about books. Otherwise, every day, we don't know, there are 24 hours for everybody. So, but we have to spend 2 hours for chanting. That made a strong standard for Prabhupada made, that we don't waste at least 2 hours of our day. We have to spend for chanting. So that 2 hours is good. and the remaining hours, whatever we are doing, we can hear the lectures. So that way, and thinking about kids and raising them in Krishna conscious way, like whatever we do, so our mind is completely focused on Krishna. So if we close to go to bed also, so it comes into our mind. So Krishna comes in our mind. So thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for picking up me and giving your guidance and Vaishnavas and helping me to serve my part in ISKCON movement. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Ramya Prabhupada Mataji. I'm so happy Alachua Temple has a lot of Prabhupada devotees, and we are able to go there, we are able to see, and we will get direct association of Ramya Prabhupada Mataji. So at least we didn't see Prabhupada through you guys, like we are seeing Prabhupada. How much Prabhupada is dedicated, like you guys are like serving so much from your younger age. So dedication and your determination and driving to Tampa and doing so many things, wonderful things. So we still young, but we don't have that much energy and enthusiasm. So please bless all the Tampa devotees and all the Prabhupada grandkids, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So I'm the least qualified, but giving me this chance, so because I will speak about Prabhupada, so it will help me actually. So anything about whatever we say or hear about Prabhupada, it ultimately benefits us. So Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Govani Prachani Nirvisheshu Nevadi Paschatya Deshtane. So about Prabhupada, what I can say is Prabhupada saved us, like saved me, and whatever we are here, like whatever I have materially or family, it's all with the blessing of Prabhupada. So I'm not sure, like if we means we are not in this path, or like we have not come across about this Prabhupada mission or ISKCON movement. So where we were like, so I only pray on this day because Prabhupada is appearance day. So Prabhupada will be more merciful today. So to give us some blessings so that we can pay back to the Prabhupada mission. So right now I'm just like a receiver side, like I'm just receiving everything from Prabhupada or Krishna. But I hope Prabhupada will bless me so that I can pay back to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhuji, can I
go? Yes. Can we go back to Sudhir Prabhu? Is anyone else there, Prabhu, at your home?
Prabhuji, yeah, we can go to other devotees, Prabhuji.
Okay. Krishna Prabhu doesn't want to say something. Krishna Prabhu.
First, let's other other devotees get a chance.
Okay. Nayan Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. We have a combined offerings from myself and Trisha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Navadi Paschatya Deshtane.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to you. I am not qualified to talk or write about you and the impacts of your glorious activities on the life of the devotees. However, by the mercy of the devotees, I, as your most unqualified servant, want to express my gratitude. Being born in a Bengali family, I was aware a little bit about the Vaishnava culture, at least Harinam Sankirtan from my childhood. In my childhood, I was exposed to some extent to the Harinam Sankirtan and Damodar program. Since I left my village home for studies and job, I lost everything what I was exposed to in my childhood. During my studies in Dhaka, I visited ISKCON temples many times just for prasadam. I'm so fallen that I never tried to know who is the old man with chanting bags sitting as a deity on the golden chair, where all the devotees are doing dandavats. I miss the opportunity to recognize the father of the family of worldwide, the Jagat Guru, the most merciful Gurudev. This is what happens for me, most unqualified one like myself, looking for mercy everywhere, but never asks for mercy to someone waiting to accept in the shelter of mercy.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, as you mentioned in many of your lectures, Krishna is always waiting when my dear children will remember me. He gives opportunity to everyone. Similarly, it happened to us and also for our family too. We got an opportunity to visit New Vrindavan in 2015. Following the year, we moved to Tampa. Since we moved here in Tampa, we feel like we are in the ocean of mercy with all the devotees around surrounding us. And those are led by two of your most qualified disciples, our dear Ramya Prabhu and Ananta Mataji, and our most favorite Shubhalash Prabhuji. Even at the beginning, we used to attend the satsang program only for prasadam and melodious kirtan by Sridham Prabhu. We are so grateful to Bipul Prabhu and Sudhir Prabhu for their efforts for getting us involved. Getting the opportunity of being surrounded by other wonderful devotees, it always gives us feeling like we are in a big family created by you. Everything happened only because of your mercy. Being materially inclined in nature, we do not recognize the real diamond. However, the mercy from all the devotees, we are trying to grow and learn. Being parents of smaller kids, sometimes we do not get opportunity to render services. However, always trying to remember your lesson and feeling little faith that raising children in Krishna conscious way is more important than deity worship. Another important lesson touched my heart, and we learned from Bhakti Charaswami Maharaj's lecture. Always trying to remember also. You may not agree with other devotees on a subject matter. You may not in a position to render some services that is required, but never leave ISKCON. You will always find a way to serve here in ISKCON and please Krishna. You are so great. You always ready to accept even a fallen soul like ourselves. On this special day, we seek your blessing from all the Vaishnavas, so we can continuously serve the devotees throughout our lives toward your mission. And also we can shelter under your umbrella and your books. Your most unqualified servants, Nayan and Trisha. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Back to you.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Is Kumar Prabhu here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thunder pranams to at the feet of all the illustrious devotees from ISKCON Tampa. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity to offer the offerings at the lotus feet of Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada. So, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Iti Namini. Pushpanjali, I offered flowers at the photograph of Srila Prabhupada. So, so I'm totally, totally not even a speck on the horizon as far as Srila Prabhupada's vast cosmos of Krishna consciousness that he has created. And it's just awe-inspiring to see, what a single ray of Krishna can accomplish in the world if a devotee is fully surrendered. So Srila Prabhupada, really is an outstanding example for us of, how he got inspired from Srila Siddhanta Saraswati and how he carried out the orders of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and how he established, how he translated, how he carried out the duties of translating and publishing books as he was asked to do, and he did that faithfully. Even though he was full of a lot of troubles on the way. And what I learned from Srila Prabhupada is he said, whatever the troubles, just keep going keep doing. There'll always be opposition. There'll always be troubles. But have faith in Krishna, do the chanting, and follow the regulative principles, and stay in the association of devotees. And as Srila Prabhupada used to say, devotion begins with hearing. And for that, he has provided so many lectures explaining everything. And all the books are so easy to read, very lucid explanations that anyone can follow. And we really have to, be really grateful. I'm really grateful for the sheer light of wisdom that is spread. I had never heard of, Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before, and his life and teachings, were brought to us due to the grace of Srila Prabhupada. I really thank Srila Prabhupada for that, and like to, offer my apologies to Srila Prabhupada for whatever, misgivings and wrong things that I may have done, of sins of commission and omission. And beg at Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, please forgive me for any problems I've done, and also the feet of all the Vaishnavas gathered here. If I've done any omissions, please forgive me. So, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Baswati Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to everyone. I'm very unqualified person to offer Srila Prabhupada, but I hear after coming in ISKCON Tampa, with the help of ISKCON Tampa mentors, senior devotees, I got to know Srila Prabhupada, and they introduced about and told about the glories of Srila Prabhupada. And I'm very fallen that I was born in Bengal, where Srila Prabhupada took birth, but I just know ISKCON Srila Prabhupada. But with our mentors' help, I able to know a little bit about Srila Prabhupada, and therefore I'm giving my Pushpanjali with Prabhupada mantra. O Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashato Deshotarine. Dear respected Prabhupada, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to you as Jagat Guru and Gauranga. You said, if you want to please me, just love Krishna. So that's why you spread the Gaur Prema, the holy name, to the whole world, and did not afraid of, and actually you were not afraid of accepting any kind of challenges. Because of you, we are able to associate with devotees in USA, far, far away from home. You spent tireless nights to write and translate scriptures. Because of that, we are able to hear, chant, read, and study Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other scriptures with the help and guidance of our senior devotees in ISKCON Tampa. And I'm very grateful to them as well as to you. Prabhupada, we are very insignificant fallen souls. Please bless us so that we can practice Krishna consciousness by serving devotees, therefore serving Krishna without any material agenda. Please keep us as dusts in your divine feet. Your servants of the servants of the servants, Bhashwati, Shomen, and Mishuk. And finally, I would like to thank all my mentors, Ramya Prabhuji, Ananta Mataji, A.G. Shubhavilash Prabhuji, Manjul Ali Mataji, Sudhir Prabhuji, Vipul Prabhuji, Renuka Mataji, Shuja Mataji, Nayan Prabhuji, Trisha Mataji, and Kumar Prabhuji, all the Kuldeep Prabhuji, Sridhama Prabhuji, everyone, and please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Devotees, I have a special request, and with approval from Ramya Prabhuji, we are already exceeded the time schedule. So if we can allow at least couple of kids to make their offerings, that will be very nice. I think we may skip the Hare Krishna movie. I don't think it will be practical to watch that right now, because we'll have the Srila Prabhupada Leela Mrita by His Grace Ramya Prabhuji. So Sudhir Prabhu, how about if Krishna Prabhu and also Biraj Binayak Prabhu, if they want to say something, I think we should include them. Prabhupada will be very, very pleased. Such young, devotees making the offerings.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Krishna.
Prabhuji is here.
Hare Krishna devotees, Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I am Vinayak, and I am going to tell about how Prabhupada inspired me to become a devotee like you. Prabhupada is our guru. He leaded us into the path of perfection to also to Krishna. If anyone asked me in the world, what am I and who am I following? Like a bunch of people in Christianity follow Jesus Christ, I would say I follow Krishna or Prabhupada, because Prabhupada gave us a way to perfection. Yeah, I would say loud and proud, I am a follower of Prabhupada, the greatest spiritual master in my ancient Vedic culture. I am not embarrassed that I do all this because it is the greatest. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Haribo. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada.
Haribol Prabhuji, very nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm going to say my offering to Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to the Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my offering at your lotus feet. I'm 7 years old and I live in Tampa, Florida. You taught us how to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. I chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra regularly. I learned Namaste Narsimhaya and I sing it regularly. I learned some bhajan. I will learn more this year with your blessings. I attend Bhagavad Gita classes regularly by His Grace Narmiram Prabhuji and His Grace Subhalas Prabhuji. I love to learn shlokas and I learn kirtans by His Grace Sri Ram Prabhuji. I like to see little Krishna and spiritual stories regularly. I do danvats to the Lord Krishna and devotees. I participate in Facebook Live kirtans regularly with my brother. I learned 25 Bhagavad Gita shloka in translation. Please bless me to become a good devotee and a good servant. Your servant Vedant Ramgatu.
Haribo.
Haribo.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Krishna. You want to say this one, or what you wrote, or you want to just
See. So, this is my offering to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati. I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. So, the things what I do every Saturday and Sunday, Jnanabaram Prabhu hosts this class, and every Sunday to test our knowledge about the shloka, he gives us a kahoot, and and that is how I learned even more about the translation and the shloka, even more. And Srila Prabhupada brought Krishna consciousness to the world in 1965, and he got a heart attack 2 times, but that still didn't. But that still encouraged him doing the service of Lord Krishna more and more. With his divine grace, Isi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, I'm able to learn so many things. If not, I would have never known about Lord Krishna. By his grace, Shubh-Vilas Prabhuji, I am learning the Kunti prayers and the 50 Bhagavad Gita shlokas. And by Naina Biram Prabhuji, I am learning the shloka and translation and getting a more understanding of the shloka each day. So, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, he has many disciples like Ramya Prabhuji and Ananta Mataji, who are one of them, who's hosting this program. Thank you very much. Your servant Tejas Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Which year Prabhupada came, which year he did? Can you tell?
So
Which year he was born?
he was born on Nandotsav, September 1st, 1896. That was like and today we are celebrating his 125th birthday anniversary. So, and yesterday was Krishna Janmashtami, and Nandotsav is the day Nanda Maharaj gave cows in charity for Krishna's birthday. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Haribol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Sridhama Prabhuji, we would love to hear from you, please.
Prabhuji, I'm looking at the time. We are already like 8:20. So I think it would be appropriate if we request Ramya Prabhuji to present the Lilamrita. And if Ramya Prabhuji needs no new introduction, but if you can briefly honor him, Prabhu, then he can begin his, Lilamrita lecture.
Okay. You are worshipable, so we will follow what you say. But after Prabhu's class, towards the closing, please, we would love to hear your appreciation towards Srila Prabhupada. So now we'll move to His Grace Ramya Prabhu's class, and as requested by Sridhama Prabhu. So His Grace Ramya Prabhu and Her Grace Ananta Mataji are very, very dedicated servants of Srila Prabhupada and disciples of Srila Prabhupada, have been practicing the path of Krishna consciousness, not just staying in Krishna consciousness, but actively serving in Krishna consciousness. Not just a disciple for the name of sake of disciple, but really imbibing the mood of Prabhupada, as we were talking in the glorification, that we haven't seen Prabhupada, but we have seen his wonderful treasures like His Grace Ramya Prabhu and Ananta Mataji, who are at such an advanced age of around 70 years or so. They're still traveling to Orlando and Tampa and Tallahassee and managing the whole Krishna consciousness and serving, doing multiple classes, and have served in multiple temples across the United States. And so we are very, very grateful to get association. They're available for us, to guide us, to help us. So we should take the maximum of those advantage of those opportunities, because sometimes familiarity breeds contempt. I'm just reminding to myself that sometimes when things are easily available, when such senior Vaishnavas are easily available, we may not understand the gems, but we are very, very grateful to Her Grace Ramya Prabhananta Mataji for their constant support and guidance, and they are currently in a Alachua community. So let's welcome them by 3 times loudly chanting Haribo, Haribo,
Haribo, Haribo.
Would you please enlighten us?
So if I should begin now. And I'm reading something here that I found most inspiring. It's called Without Fear, Glimpses of Srila Prabhupada, given by my godbrother Rupa Vilas Das.
Show the book?
Huh?
Do you want to show the book?
Oh. I don't know if that helps. They can't see it. It's too fuzzy. So I'll read parts of what he said because I find it very inspiring. In studying the lives of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Bhaktivinoda, we see striking parallels in their unparalleled activities. These Mahabhagavats exhibit super excellent qualities of pure devotees so brilliantly that even gross materialists are captivated, impressed, even stunned, amazed, and transformed by seeing their behavior. There is no mistaking their position as self-realized, self-effulgent, empowered Mahatmas who came for the deliverance of the world. So these 3 Mahabhagavat devotees showed extraordinary compassion for the bewildered denizens of the universe and acted without a pinch of personal consideration. They endeavored to deliver the suffering world with all the facilities at their command, mind, body, words, followers, money, and with everything that came to them by the Lord's unique position. So I want to skip into different parts because time is limited. Let us continue here. These 3 acharyas, including Srila Prabhupada, could see the future, and they invoked the Lord's mercy with their earnest prayers for deliverance of the world. The year 1896 was momentous, for it was the birth of Srila Prabhupada and the year that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings reached the Western world in the form of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, His Life and Precepts. This was no accident. The Thakur had earnestly prayed for the liberation of the world in the mood of Sri Advaita, invoking the descent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he had written in his book Sajjana Toshini, Sriman Mahaprabhu did not descend with his associates to deliver a certain number of human beings in the land of India, but rather his purpose was to deliver and uplift all living beings in all countries of the world by practicing the eternal religion of the souls. He quoted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, quote, "My name will be preached in all countries and towns that exist throughout the world." Bhaktivinoda Thakur then prayerfully invoked the Lord and expressed his heartfelt desires as follows. There are many kinds of religion in the world, and among them all, the highest development of religion is the congregational chanting of the Lord's divine names. Of this, there is no doubt. Alas, when will that day come when all the greatly fortunate souls in the countries such as England, France, Russia, Prussia, and America take up banners and kettle drums, mridangas and kartels, and thus cause ecstatic waves of Harinam Kirtan and the singing of Jai Sachinandana Ki Jai, to rise in the streets of their towns and cities. Oh, when will that day come when pure transcendental Vaishnava Prema will be the only religion of all souls, and all tiny sectarian religions will meet in unlimited universal religion of Vaishnavism. as rivers merge into the great ocean. Oh, when will that day come? So then he wrote another prediction about the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and how a great soul will come to move unrestrictedly around the whole world with his message.
This is back to Vinod's prediction.
Yes, Bhakti Vinod. In the same order as Kardama Muni, about 100 years ago, Thakur Bhakti Vinod also wanted to beget a child who could preach the philosophy and teachings. This is written by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he said, about 100 years ago, Thakur Bhakti Vinod wanted to beget a child who could preach the philosophy and teachings of Lord Chaitanya to the fullest extent. By his prayers, the Lord had as his child Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, who at the present moment is preaching the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya throughout the entire world through his bona fide disciples. On the other hand, the personality who actually repeatedly encircled the world, who moved, quote, unrestrictedly over the whole world, was undoubtedly Srila Prabhupada. The prediction applies equally to Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who accompanied Srila Prabhupada. These prayers of that monumental personality, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, brought such a wealth of association to the impoverished world in the form of his son and in the form of his son's foremost disciple. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote this short part of the poem. He reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die. When thou art living still and sound, Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread the holy name around. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur continues. He says, these great souls were not merely luminaries like comets appearing in the firmament for a while and disappearing as soon as their mission is done, but like so many suns shining all along to give light and heat to succeeding generations, long time yet to roll on, and when they will be succeeded by others of the sublime mind and beauty and caliber. So basically he's saying that Srila Prabhupada is not just another luminary in the sky, but he is giving light and direction for many generations to come. And then let me read this. This is very interesting. By the prayers of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the great personifications of compassion and mercy, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, came to fulfill his desires. Srila Prabhupada also saw the future age of Kali and knew the Lord of Chaitanya's golden age. He prayed for and was granted a special benediction by Lord Chaitanya for the benefit of us all. His shiksha would have such liberating power that it would continue to act for the next 10,000 years. Srila Prabhupada certified it. So quote, of these 427,000 years of the age of Kali, the 10,000 years of the Sankirtan movement inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago provide the opportunity for the fallen souls of Kali Yuga to take to Krishna conscious movement, chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and thus be delivered from the clutches of Maya and return back home, back to Godhead. But even if 1/4% of the people come to this, then it will be successful. Compared to American population, what percentage have we got? Still, they have made some impression. The Hare Krishna movement, literatures are selling, and they are appreciating in the learned circles as well. It takes some time, but if we stick to our principles and do not make any compromise and push on, In this way, I have given you instruction, and it will never stop. It will go on. It will never stop. For at least 10,000 years, it will go on. Then here's another quote from the Brahma Vaivarta Purana about this 10,000 years. It says, there will be chanting of the name of Hari and reading of the Bhagavad Purana. Reaching such a place, attentively hear. O Janavi, the whole planet will become a pilgrimage site by the presence of Vaishnavas, even though they had previously been sinful. For 10,000 years of Kali Yuga, such devotees of mine will fill the whole planet. And after the departure of my devotees, there will be only one Varna, outcast. Devoid of my devotees, the earth again will be shackled by Kali. Thus saying this, Lord Krishna departed. So this was not an idle boast, but a statement of fact from one who was the very emblem of humility. His shiksha is sufficiently powerful by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deliver the conditioned souls throughout the golden age of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is one insight which I found was very wonderful. There is another one here, which is Prabhupada had different god brothers who were his associates while he was a householder. Bhakti Rashaka Sridhar Goswami, Maharaj Madhava Maharaj, Madhusudan Maharaj, and Abhay Charanaravinda Prabhupada. And many other closely related devotees were staying. This is recounted by one of Prabhupada's godbrothers. Other closely related devotees were staying there in Mumbai in the Math, near Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They were talking with each other about preaching. The question was, who will go to the West? They had already had some details about the West, yet when the questions and answers were going on, at that time Srila Sridhar Maharaj asked Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati about my Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. This is about Kenny's asking about Bhaktisiddhanta. And he replied, Narottam Prabhu, that's the brahmachari name of Madhusudan Maharaj, he may go to the West. He is preaching in Bombay in English. He is expert in preaching. I confer my blessings if he goes. But my Guru Dev, which was Narottam Prabhu, then requested Prabhupada, quote, please Guru Dev, don't. Yes, Bhaktisiddhanta. Please Guru Dev, don't order me. I cannot agree to go there because of separation from you. I cannot tolerate it. Due to the thought of separation from Bhaktisiddhanta's Sangha, Narottam Prabhu was worried. His mind was in pain and he was crying. He was a brahmachari at the time, only 27 or 28 years old, and he was worrying that if he were to be ordered by Guru Dev, then he could not do it, and he would fall down. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta realized his heart, he said, all right, no problem. Then someone raised the question again, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta himself suggested the name of Abhay Babu, our Prabhupada. He very clearly said, Abhay Charanavinda, he will go. Certainly he will be able to do it. He is also preaching, speaking in English, so there is no problem that you do not go. He will go. My Guru Dev remembered the incident very clearly, how our Prabhupada acknowledged that order and how amazingly it became true. Afterwards, when Prabhupada went to the West and got the blessings of his spiritual master, blessings being given the power, means being given the power, the force in his heart. My Guru told me how Prabhupada was preached all over the world by the blessings of his Guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, with heart and soul. Although he went alone, encouragement for preaching in his heart was strong. This kind of quality of dedication is very rare. So that was very special. And then about being empowered to follow the mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. It is, let's see, who said this? Anyway, let's read it. I think it's from Bhagavad Gita purport. After being initiated and receiving the orders of the spiritual master, the disciple should unhesitatingly think about the instructions or orders of the spiritual master and should not allow himself to be disturbed by anything else. This is also the verdict of Srila Vishnavad Chakrabarti Thakur, who, while explaining a verse of Bhagavad Gita, Vyavasatmika Buddhir Ekeha Kurunandana, Bhagavad Gita 2:41, points out that the order of the spiritual master is the life substance of the disciple. The disciple should not consider whether he's going home back to Godhead. His first business should be to execute the order of his spiritual master. Thus, a disciple should always meditate on the order of the spiritual master. That is the perfectional meditation. Not only should he meditate upon that order, but he should find the ways and means by which he can perfectly worship and execute it. When one becomes serious to follow the mission of the spiritual master, his resolution is tantamount to, now listen to this, to seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So just by that resolution to follow the orders of spiritual, he is seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As explained before, this means meeting the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the instruction of the spiritual master. Technically, it's called Vani Seva. Srila Vishnavad Chakrabarti Thakur states in his Bhagavad Gita comment on the verse Vyavasatmika Buddhir Ekeha Kurunandana that one should serve the words of the spiritual master. Disciple must stick to whatever the spiritual master orders, and simply by following on that line, one sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let me see. Okay, let me skip to another section as time is moving on. So Prabhupada was recalling his coming to America. He said, so when I was at the ship at Boston Port, Commonwealth Port, I was thinking that I have come here. I do not know what is the purpose, because how the people will accept this movement. They are differently educated. And as soon as I will say, so my dear sir, you have to give up meat eating and illicit sex and no intoxication and gambling, they will say, please go home. Because that was the experience of one of my godbrothers. He went to London and he had the opportunity to talk with one big man, the Marquis of Zetland. The Marquis of Zetland was formerly the governor of Bengal. And at that time, when the Marquis was governor of Bengal, I was a student. He was a Scotsman and I was a student at the Scottish Churches College, and he came to our college and he was standing in front of me in the second class. He was very nice, good gentleman. He proposed to my godbrother whether you can make me a Brahmin. That was his question to Prabhupada's godbrother. My godbrother proposed, yes, we can make anyone Brahmin, provided you follow the principles of no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, and no gambling. So Lord Zetland immediately replied, and we know this, I think you all know what he says, impossible. I was thinking that I will propose something which is impossible. So let me try it. So that's what he was saying about coming to America. So these are very wonderful insights into the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. Another interesting section I read here was that about, it's called eligible for going back to home. So on June 20th, 1972, the Dallas Temple president, Stoka Krishna, received a letter from Srila Prabhupada addressed to me, and he's the author, Rupa Vilas Prabhu, my former wife, and two other Vaishnavas as follows, quote, "My dear sons and daughters, please accept my blessings. Upon the recommendation of Stoka Krishna, the temple president, I am glad to consent to accept all of you as my duly initiated disciples. Your beads have been chanted on by me, and they are sent under separate posts. I have given you your spiritual names as follows. Robert was Rupa Vilas Adhikari. Carol was Chandrika Devi Dasi. Debbie was Babatarini Devi Dasi, and Deborah was Banu Tanya Devi Dasi. I am very glad to hear that all of you have been a great help to Stoka Krishna there in our Dallas Gurukula. And I can stand that you are all very sincere boys and girls. And then he says this, very amazing, and quite eligible for going back home, back to Godhead. So they weren't even initiated, and Prabhupada saying you are eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. And now I very much appreciate your activities for conducting our stool to the highest standard of Krishna consciousness behavior. I consider your work the most important in society because you are shaping the future generation of our Krishna consciousness preachers. And that is not any small thing. So I'm depending very much upon you all to assist Lord Chaitanya in fulfilling his mission for saving humankind from a very quickly gliding to hell. So the author, he says the following. So we were all very excited to receive this letter, which was similar to many other initiation letters of the period, but still unique and perfect. So Srila Prabhupada take the time to write us our names and personally chant it on our beads. And because Prabhupada chanted on, they're called tadiya, or those things connected with Krishna. So the instructions to follow the regular principles with determination and chant 16 rounds, and his assurance that, quote, that will save you in all circumstances without doubt, end quote, gave us all so much hope and joy. We were certainly in illusion as to what kind of struggle executing his order throughout our lives would really entail. Still, this letter filled us with hope and enthusiasm. And as the Gayatri Mantra states, we wish to enthuse him as he has enthused us. The Prabhupada assured us that we were sincere and quite eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. So much encouragement. He even called us assistants of Lord Chaitanya. So this was Srila Prabhupada's view of the devotees that were joining him to push on the Krishna consciousness movement. He saw them as assistants of Lord Chaitanya and quite eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. In spite of being born in the West and having such a maybe a sinful background after being born in this world. So you have something?
Just one.
I'll let Ananta read something now for a few minutes.
I have this memories book, which is from the tape. Here's my favorite. Since it's so late, I only read one. No,
Please.
it's already almost
That's
9.
all right.
Well, then I have to save the best for last.
Okay.
So this is from Brahmananda Swami, showing Prabhupada's intense concern to his disciples and his preachers. In 1971, Srila Prabhupada was having a big public program in India. And one evening, an Arya Samajist challenged Prabhupada, "Oh, Swamiji, you have come to India with your Western chelas, but we know all these things. This is our culture. Better you go to some other place and do your work there. All right, you have been in the West, but what about the Muslim countries? What about Pakistan? You should go to Pakistan and preach there. Make them devotees. This was in a public pandal with thousands of people. Prabhupada said, you are challenging us to go? The man said, yes, I challenge you. You must go to Pakistan. Prabhupada said, all right, we will go. Prabhupada wrote a letter to me, Brahmananda. Immediately go to West Pakistan. He also wrote to Gargamuni, they were brothers. Immediately go to East Pakistan. We got these letters and we left the next day. I didn't have any money. Somebody had to pay for the bus from Florida to New York. Gargamuni had some money, so he flew. I had to go overland to India, hitchhiking, buses, trains, whatever way I could go. And at that time, a war was starting. Prabhupada found out about the war and the hostilities between Pakistan and India afterwards and wrote a second letter saying, I don't advise you to go at this time. But we never got that letter. We had already left. We walked right into a war situation. It was difficult. But we were preaching and trying to do something. I was in Karachi. North of Karachi is the Singh Desert, the hottest place in the world, averaging 125 degrees Fahrenheit. It was May, the hottest month, and I was sick with dysentery. I had no books. People were spitting on me in the street, threatening to put a knife in my back. When we had kirtan, people would rub off our tilak and spit. What a situation. Then a report appeared in the Pakistani and Indian newspapers saying 4 Hare Krishna missionaries shot. In Bombay, Karandar showed Prabhupada the news report. It didn't give any names. Gargamuni was in Pusta in the east, and I was in Jaganivas in the west. There were 4 of us. Prabhupada was very disturbed. He thought we had been shot. I sent a telegram to Prabhupada saying, can I get out of here? Prabhupada sent a telegram back, come immediately, Bhaktivedanta Swami. 4 words. Those were the best 4 words. To get out of the country was a big thing. Somehow we were able to get out. I came to Bombay and went to the Akash Ganga building where Prabhupada was staying. When I walked into his room, Prabhupada immediately got up, came over, put his arms around me and hugged me to his chest. He was putting his hands all over me, just like a mother would touch her child if she thinks he has been hurt. The mother wants to see if the child is still intact. So Prabhupada was so concerned about them being in Pakistan. Here's my favorite story by Jayapataka Maharaj. I think of this often when I feel like, okay, there's really no hope for me in Krishna consciousness. So you can keep this in your heart also. Jayapataka. Once Srila Prabhupada was given a lecture about how we have to be 100% Krishna conscious. He was ramming home the point that we had to surrender to Krishna 100%. At the end of the day, the devotees were very downcast and looking serious. They were looking and thinking, who can come up with the standard of complete surrender? As if he could read our minds, Prabhupada relaxed his mood a little bit and said, if you can be 90% Krishna conscious, then you can also go back to Godhead. He was on a large high Vyasasana, 4 feet in the air, and had to go down some steps to get off the Vyasasana. As he started down, he said, even if you are 80% surrendered, Krishna will still take you. Then he got off the Vyasasana, started walking away. His chadar was blowing behind him, dragging on the ground. He stopped, looked at the devotees and said, even if you are 70% Krishna conscious, still Krishna will take you. He threw his chadar over his shoulders and walked off with his head held high. Hare Krishna. Of course, we have to aim for 100% so we can get 70%.
So there's another short topic here, and that is, Prabhupada was giving a class, and at the end of the class, someone raised a question, which in essence asked what it was like to be transcendentally situated, what it was like to be a self-realized soul. Srila Prabhupada considered the question for a few moments, and then he spoke 2 memorable words, without fear. As he uttered those words, I felt trembling. The hairs on my body stood on end. I had goosebumps, and I felt fearless, ecstatic, and emotional all at once. I felt a little self-conscious, not wanting to make a display of my feelings But as I looked around the room, I saw many other devotees had jubilant expressions on their faces. It was as though a wave of ecstatic energy had emanated from Srila Prabhupada and then passed through us. For a few moments, we knew what it was like to be situated in transcendence, fearless and blissful. So this also was very nice. And in this regard, Prabhupada had this other experience here is quoted, a conversation between Brahmananda and Srila Prabhupada as he was walking in Calcutta. Brahmananda, Calcutta on the Maidan, there's that big building, on that big memorial. Is that, oh, Victoria Memorial. I think some of you know what that is. Brahmananda says, that was built for the king when he was coming? Prabhupada, no, that was built in memory of Victoria. It was done imitating the Taj Mahal, and it took 20 years. Shri Rajendranath Mukherjee of Martin Company, he took the contract. And after finishing, he got the title Sir. And when it was being constructed, I went to the top by crossing the scaffolding. Brahmananda said, oh, so you must have been very brave. Srila Prabhupada said, yes, I am still brave. Otherwise, how could I come alone to preach Krishna consciousness? I am still brave. Devotee said, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The Prabhupada then said, some astrologer told that this boy, for executing his purpose, will enter into the fire. Yes, that is true. So Srila Prabhupada was unafraid to take on the greatest risks for Krishna. And he was also very accustomed to ask his disciples to also surrender and take on risks as he ordered them to preach Krishna consciousness. So this is one facet of Srila Prabhupada's heart. That Srila Prabhupada, I remember one godbrother of mine, I think his name is Vishnu Jan Swami, Prabhupada sent him to Austin, Texas. All he had with him, the dhoti and kurta that he wore, and his Bhagavad Gita, and maybe a change of clothes. And he went to Austin, Texas. That's all he had. And at night, he would sleep under a tree, or he would meet some people and preach to them, and they would give him a place in their house to stay for the night. He had no money to eat, and so people, would come forth and bring him some food. And this was not India. This was in Texas. And if you know Texas, Texas is a very conservative Christian state. The type of Christians that live there are somewhat intolerant of other religions. So Srila Prabhupada was like that, and this devotee from then, he established a temple where many of my godbrothers joined and became devotees there. So this was a mood. This was what Prabhupada asked of his devotees. Of course, not everyone had to fulfill that role, but Srila Prabhupada asked those who had some capability to make such daring risks for Krishna. So, should we stop here? Take any questions?
I think devotees, any questions, comments?
I know we related many different pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, so maybe some of you had some special thoughts on some of them.
I can share something that I heard it on a lecture, Prabhuji. It seems Srila Prabhupada had visited a temple, and within few moments, he asked the devotees there, why Krishna seems so tired? There are black circles under his eyes. And they were kind of shocked. They said that Krishna is already Sham Sundar, and how are you able to see the dark circles under his eyes? He says, no, it seems like Krishna is very tired. They said that no, he asked, is everything being done by the schedule? They said that yes, Prabhupada, everything is going as per the time schedule. Then he spoke with the priest and the president. He came to know that they had kept the temple open for an additional about 45 to 60 minutes each night. The temple was supposed to be closed at 9 p.m., but they were closing at 10 p.m. just to accommodate few very nice devotees, but they were working hard. They were supporting good congregational members. For them, they used to keep the temple open late. So Srila Prabhupada, for him, obviously his mood is so elevated. It does not belong to the material world, And what Srila Prabhupada has given us is just not a theoretical knowledge. It's a life-transforming process. He made us aware who we are. We are eternal souls, part and parcel of Krishna. And our goal is to be an eternal servant of Krishna and his devotees. So on this very auspicious day, I beg mercy from Srila Prabhupada. He has given me many opportunities to serve his mission and temples and other devotees. But the truth is that I have not fulfilled that to the fullest extent. So Srila Prabhupada, as a father would forgive his child, please forgive me for all my shortcomings and deficiencies. But Prabhupada, I'm so thankful for reuniting me with the wonderful Tampa devotees. Even I don't have confidence on myself, but I'm so very confident with the Tampa congregation and the leaders, and Ramya Prabhuji, Ananta Mataji, Shubhavilas Prabhu, Manjulali Mataji, and all the wonderful senior devotees. I'm very confident that I'll be able to be as a small part of Srila Prabhupada's mission. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Someone else would like to say something?
I saw Karthik Prabhu on the, I don't know if he wants to say a few things.
Yeah, Karthik is there.
Prabhu, you want to share something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sorry, I was actually driving. Parked my car. I parked my car, but just I want to add a couple of things. Prabhu, I think the kids have given an amazing offering to Prabhupada, and it's very inspiring to hear their offerings. It's I think it kind of rejuvenates my focus on the spiritual life. And I guess as everybody has said, Prabhu, I wouldn't have focused on my spiritual life as much as I'm doing now without Srila Prabhupada's family that he has created. So I am ever grateful and ever thankful to Prabhupada for giving me this amazing family of devotees who are always there to inspire and make me better, not just in my spiritual life, but in all aspects of my life. So I really bow down to the lotus feet of Prabhupada and to all the wonderful devotees. Without their association, I probably would have continued to be a fallen soul. I'm still a fallen soul, but I'm sure that I'm heading in the right direction with the help of devotees and the blessings of Prabhupada. So thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Rakesh Prabhu, would you like to say anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, devotees. Thank you for giving the opportunity. I'm so grateful to have your association, Prabhuji. It's like I'm not practicing too much, but very little bit. That too only is because of Tampa devotees. Actually, and also I was not habituated to read books and listening all Bhagavad Gita, all the classes. Only with the Subhavilas Prabhuji's help, I was able to complete one book, that is Bhagavad Gita, completely. That is my first book actually in my whole life to read, other than technical related. So yeah, I'm so grateful to have your association, and also I pray for, like, I would like to request you all to end up my life, like I would like to have a association, devotees association, so that I can develop in bhakti. Yeah, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? I see Mother Sujoya there and Puna.
Rita Mataji, where are you joining from? Thank you for your association. Where are you connecting from? Can you tell about yourself and share a few words? Rita Mataji, can you please unmute and tell about yourself and say something? Please unmute, click on that unmute button and then speak. I think you turned off the camera instead. There's another...
Prabhuji, I'm trying to unmute, but I think she has, it says, I hope, let's see.
She got it now. Please speak.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Okay, thank you very much to give me the opportunity. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Jai Hare Krishna ji. I am thankful to have few words about Prabhupada. He's the greatest father, philosopher and guide, and I hope he give me the direction. I love him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Where are you joining from? Kahan se aap?
I'm from Port Richey area, Florida.
Port Richey.
Oh, very
Yes.
nice.
Port Richey.
Little north of Tampa.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Mother Sujoya, did she want to say something?
Is that Prabhu Mataji is that Newport Richey, which is close to Trinity?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, see, we have to get more devotees to Newport Richey. So Sridham, looks like you have to take.
I think if you or Shubhavilas Prabhuji can conclude this wonderful Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja celebrations. We had a wonderful program since the morning. So we can conclude here, Prabhuji, if that's okay.
That's good for me if that's.
Certainly, Prabhuji.
Shubhavilas Prabhu.
Thank you so much to all the devotees for taking part in this Vyasa Puja offerings and the program in the morning and in the afternoon and then in the evening. Sharing your heart filled with gratitude and love towards Prabhupada. Certainly, Prabhupada is noticing and acknowledging and observing all of us. No act of bhakti goes in unnoticed in this path of spiritual life. So especially this is the 125th anniversary of Prabhupada's appearance. So this is very, very special. And as I think devotees mentioned that the great acharyas are always merciful, but their mercy, grows million times more on these special days of appearance and disappearance. Therefore, we celebrate that with great joy and like a festival, Utsaha. So thank you, Sridhama Prabhu, for coordinating and inspiring all of us to take part in this festival. Let's just pray to the best of our abilities so that we can please Prabhupada and we can please the mission of Srila Prabhupada and we can please the disciples and the Guru Parampara with all our mind, with all our words, with all our body intelligence, and whatever he has given us. Let's engage it to the best of our abilities in the beautiful service of Prabhupada and all his wonderful mission. Prabhupada Vyas Puja Utsav ki Jai. Prabhupada Vyas Puja Utsav ki Jai.
Jai.
Ki Jai. Jagat Guru
Jai.
Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Coordination this morning. 3 times Hari Bol to Sri Ram Prabhu. Hari
Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Sridham Prabhu. Sridham Prabhu, if you want, maybe you could post the link for the video if people want to see it on their own time.
I will do that, Prabhu.
I don't know if here or in WhatsApp group, wherever.
I think I'll post that on the WhatsApp group, Prabhu. It will benefit all the other members too.
Very nice.
Haribol devotees, have a wonderful night. We had one of the best Janmashtami programs, Saturday celebration, Sunday prasadam distribution, and yesterday wonderful Krishna Katha and midnight Aarti. So very nice. And today Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja. ISKCON Tampa Sankirtan ki Jai. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Sandhubhya eva cha pitana.
Pabune Vishnu Namo Namo.